Don't buy anything, okay? You can easily do this yourself. Welcome back, my DIY fanatics and fashionistas. Today, I'm going to teach you how to do this. So, a popular DIY thing that people have been doing recently is called a wall collage or a picture wall collage or whatever you want to call it. And it's just a collage of photos that people put together, and they usually have a specific theme or color scheme or whatever, and then you just glue them to your wall and it works out perfectly. Anyway, all you'll need for this DIY is a computer, PowerPoint, Pinterest, this Scotch dot glue stuff, and scissors, and that's it. Okay, so what you'll first want to do is kind of like pick the idea that you want to go with. Mine for this particular theme that I have behind me is beige, neutral, and nude. That was kind of like the idea that I was going with. And I just wanted it to be kind of like a neutral theme that could go anywhere and would just be behind me when I was either doing makeup or I was filming YouTubes or Instagram, IGTV things or whatever. So let's get started.
Okay, so what you'll first want to do is obviously get into your Pinterest, and what you can start by doing is either just searching whatever you want. Up here in the search bar, you can search like sunflower aesthetic, yellow aesthetic, cheerful aesthetic, whatever you're looking for, you can search up there. But I'm just going to show you what I've already started doing. So this was the first one that I created, was this aesthetic picture wall collage, but it's a bunch of different colors and it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. So I decided to come up with my beige aesthetic. So this is on my own personal Pinterest, and this is kind of the color scheme that I was going for. I was looking for nudes, neutrals, whites, creams, beige, obviously, all those kinds of things. So I just started out by typing in up here, beige aesthetic. And then it'll come up with a bunch of different things. So I was looking more for like this kind of style over here, this rectangle style. But I loved the palm trees. I loved the Roman kind of theme. I loved anything Chanel. I wasn't really looking for people, like anybody with faces. I was looking more for like just this kind of stuff, not necessarily people, just objects, I guess you could say, in a sense. Anyway, once I had my aesthetic down in my board, I would move over to PowerPoint. So this is how I would put things in. I would copy and paste things into PowerPoint. So let me just show you how I did it on my particular PowerPoint. So I would, let's just say I have just copied that picture and I right clicked and I put it in picture form, okay? And then over here on the right hand side would show up your design ideas. So for the design idea, I went with this one where the whole picture took up the whole page, okay? So that you had a nice, large, thick picture. Because obviously when it comes out on paper, it'll look a little different because this does not take up the full paper when you print it out. But this is how large I wanted them to be for my particular wall. So once the design idea was up and I had probably like 15 slides, I printed out each one individually so that I made sure that the color worked for that particular picture. What you'll want to make sure is that your printer can print pictures in nice, beautiful coloring without bleeding the coloring across the other pictures. And I'll have a little picture up on my screen of the printer that I specifically use for my printing capabilities for this particular picture. But anyway, once I had a bunch of slides up, I printed all of them off one by one, and then I cut them out so that they would be out nice and square.
Okay, so once you have them all printed out, you'll just want to cut the white off of the edge because there'll be about an inch of white around the edges of your printing, and you'll just have to cut those off because PowerPoint doesn't print to the full page for some reason. But once you print all of those off, you'll just cut around the edges off the white, and then be really careful about cutting the pictures next to each other because obviously they're so close that like if you accidentally went jagged a little bit, it would show up on the other pictures. So you want to take your time, making sure to cut the strip like really smoothly, or you could even use an X-Acto knife if you wanted. I didn't use an X-Acto knife because I have like a really shaky hand and I was afraid that I would literally just cut it in half. So I just took my time with scissors and I went around and I cut them individually. And then surprisingly enough, this is really good stuff and it sticks to the wall really nicely. Like honestly, it worked out so well. But this wall behind me is like 50, 60 pictures, I think, or something like that. And there are quite a few rows, as you can tell. It's quite enormous. So I would definitely recommend if you're gonna do like a large wall, you'll probably want like 40 or 50 slides on your PowerPoint. Because it's gonna take a lot of pictures, but they're nice and large. Like they're almost as long as my hand, and my hands are enormous. So they're beautiful, honestly. They came out really nicely. But I'll definitely make sure to show you a picture of my printer that I use specifically for my printing. Obviously, if you have like a better printer, it'll come out a lot nicer, but you'll definitely wanna be careful about the bleeding of colors. The cheaper the printer, the more easily the colors will bleed across each other. So you'll definitely wanna watch out for that. But this does not, permanently stick to the wall. It's the glue dots, so you just pull it across like that. And I did one at the top, one at the bottom, and then a sideways one across the picture. And then you'll probably want to wear gloves because the ink comes off fairly easily, because this is actually glossy paper. I probably should have mentioned that at the beginning. This is glossy paper, not normal paper. And you can get like 100, like a ream of 100 on Amazon for like $5. So this is glossy paper. I did not use normal paper because I wanted it to be shiny and pretty, and I wanted it to be glossy. So this is actually glossy paper, and it came out really nicely. It's actually a little wonky. I don't know if you can even tell on video, but it's actually a little wonky. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to sit down when you go to put them on. And I started in the middle, which was probably a good idea. I should have just sat down when I started it, but you'll start in the middle and then you'll work out from there. The cat pulled the cord out of my light. Anyway, unless you want it to be all the way to the top of your ceiling, you'll want to obviously start at the top of the ceiling and then work down, and then it'll be like a straighter edge from there, so you won't have to worry about the wonkiness. But that's glossy paper, and it has the glue dots, and they actually come off the wall really easily. If you want to use command strips, you totally can, but I didn't want any bubbles on my wall. Like I didn't want it to stick out farther from the wall and like look weird. So I just used the glue dots and they stick totally fine. Because I use this for like my journaling, because I do this exact same thing except in like journaling form. And this works totally fine on the wall. I peeled it off for like a trial run to see if the paint would come off, and it didn't. So it worked out pretty well. But that's all I did for this picture wall collage. I literally called it my beige aesthetic. It's on my Pinterest. I will link my Pinterest in the description below if you want to go to my beige aesthetic and steal all the pictures there. That's totally fine because it's a free domain and all the pictures are not mine. I don't own any of those pictures. I don't own any of these pictures. None of these pictures are mine. They're all somebody else's creation. But I've also been trying to make other aesthetics. Like I made a yellow aesthetic board, I made a purple aesthetic board, I made a black and white, I made a vintage. I'm trying to do a bunch of different aesthetics because I might change my mind here in a couple months about whether I want to keep this on the wall and maybe change it up a little bit. But I'm definitely going to be expanding this because I absolutely love it, and I think it might just take over this whole wall on this side of our bedroom because I actually really like it. Like it turned out really well. But I want to see all of your guys' ideas. I want to see what you guys do to your guys' walls, because it would make me really happy if you guys take this idea and do it for yourself. Don't buy anything, okay? You can easily do this yourself. Go to Pinterest. All these pictures that I found, I also, there was a girl that was selling her thingy on Etsy for like $8, and I was like, I can do that myself. All the pictures that she had on her Etsy, I found on Pinterest. So you can do this yourself. Don't waste money and buy it. Seriously. You can make your own aesthetic out of your own pictures and make it the way you want it to be made. Don't do somebody else's. Because make it your own. It's all about you. It's not about anybody else. Anyway, that's my TED Talk for today. I love you guys so much. I hope you guys do this. It's super fun. It's a great way to spend 4 hours just hunting down pictures and pasting them on your wall. It's awesome. It's super fun. But anyway, I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for joining in today, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.